handbook is a very common recommendation for employers, and it is beneficial to have in many cases, but it is really important to understand the protections it does and doesn't offer. So an employee handbook, by having your policy, having your client's policies outlined in one spot, and ensuring that they comply with those policies, it helps protect them from claims of discrimination. For instance, if they have an employee who asks for a time off and it's denied for some reason, and that employee were to turn around and say that it was denied because they're a member of a protected class and they were being discriminated against, if there's an employee handbook which shows that it was proper policy for that request to be denied, that can be a very protective step. However, one of the common mistakes that happens with this is that sometimes employee handbooks are used as just a template that was found out online, and they don't actually match how the client operates. And in that case, it can actually do more harm than good, because in that instance, if the employer denies that request for time off, and that's consistent with how they treat all of those requests, but their employee handbook was not updated to properly match their actual policies, now it does the opposite effect, where the employee can show the employee handbook and show the provision where their request should have been approved based on their documented policies. And even though the owner may be able to show other instances where they have refused similar requests for time off, it's not going to look great to show that they're not following their own written policy. So very careful with things like employee handbooks or other policies to make sure they're actually reflective of the operations. Training program is more of a practical guidance than a legal guidance, but one of the situations where this can be really helpful is when employers are able to show that they have their employees go through training programs, especially when they work in sensitive areas, such as working with kids, security guards, anybody working with sensitive data who may need to undergo some training about how to keep it confidential. And this way, if an employee makes a mistake or does something wrong, the employer is in a position to point to the fact that they provided training for their employees, which may help limit their liability to some extent.